So guys, yes, this is a new game that I've recently purchased, and I'm very excited about it because well, it's a PC-based simmer, obviously, and well, yeah, I've seen a few other players play it, and it's one that I'm really excited about. So I've decided to call it SirBrewAlot's Town, being that I'm SirBrewAlot, and this is another Let's Play for SBA Gaming HD. So welcome if you've just joined us. So yeah, like I said, this is a new game. Well, it's not a new game. It's been out for quite a while on Steam, but I've seen a couple of people play it, and I was like, you know what? It looks so. Oh, what's the word? It looks just really relaxing, and it's just one that I could really get into. So here we go. This is me playing Banished. So do sit back, put your feet up, grab a brew, and join along. And if it's your first time, welcome. So here we go. Here is my village peeps. I'm gonna so basically Banished is actually like a survival type sim, and I've got 8 labourers here that I really need to start thinking about what I'm going to do with them. So as with any sort of survival, the first port of call is to get shelter, warmth and food, and those are the 3 things that I'm going to be thinking about. Oh great, look at this map, there's plenty of trees, so we're not spoilt for fuel source for food. Fire. Oh great, there's plenty of lakes as well, so we can do some fishing, which is fantastic. Oh, and there's a good river there, so there should be some good trade. So there's plenty to do, and there's a few hills there that I could perhaps put a quarry down in as well, which is fantastic. So actually, this map is great. So they've already started us off in a bit of an opening. And one thing you need to do when you play these games is sort of think forward and think, okay, well, what do I want the layout to be? So the first thing I'm going to do is we need wood. So I'm going to clear this section away here. Let's get all of these guys. Probably go down a bit further actually. I reckon. Oh, hang on, sorry. This is a good amount of trees to get straight away. I think if I get a nice square, that'll do. But I'm also going to grab all of these rocks as well, because wood and stone is very important when you're building buildings, funnily enough. Yeah. So as I said, this game is very nostalgic. That's the word I was looking for. I knew it was in my vocabulary somewhere. And yeah, it's quite, you know, I live quite a busy lifestyle in my real job and in my real life, and it's one game that I've really wanted to sort of sit down and play as a chance to sort of unwind after a long day. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this, because I certainly do. It's something that, you know, I've watched, I mentioned, I've watched a couple of people play it, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, I found myself just watching these videos going, well, why don't I get the game myself and give it a go? So what I'm doing now is a stockpile, because we've started off in hard mode, and in hard mode you start off with just a cart, which is fine, but as they collect resources they are going to need to put them somewhere, and if you don't have a stockpile they just dunk them down wherever they cut the trees or rocks, which isn't very good. And as you can see, the cart is pretty much heavy laden already, so I've given them a nice little stockpile of 6x4, I think that was, and we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do is let them crack on with that for a minute. I'm just going to crank the speed, and these guys don't hang about, as you can tell. They're straight away, axes at the ready, lopping down trees and cracking up rocks. Not cracking them up in the way that making them laugh, because that would just be a bit weird. Anyway, but as you can tell, the music as well is very relaxing. It's kind of like, ah. So I don't know why these guys were banished. Maybe they just thought, you know what, let's just leave our town and start a new one. So that's fine. I am the mayor, SirBrewAlot, and this is my town. So I'm going to do my very best to make it a comfortable town for them all. Yes. So there we go. As you can tell, they've all got house symbols over their heads, which is telling me I need to create some houses. So I think there's 8 of them. So I'm going to make 4 houses once we get enough resources. So that'll be our shelter. But then I need to start thinking about how to get food. Now, there's a lot of dense forest around, and I think there is scope to put in a gatherer's hut. And what a gatherer's hut does... Oh wow, it's raining hard here. What a gatherer's hut does is that they go around and sort of, well, gather mushrooms, berries, needle soup, nettle tea, you name it. Squirrels? No, that would be a hunting lodge. But, so I'm going to put a gathering hut down, maybe 2. And then I'm going to think about a fishery as well, because, you know, you need your protein from your fish. So, yeah, these guys are not hanging about. So once this section is cleared, I'm going to start putting down a few houses. So, you know what, I think I might put down a couple of houses now, because actually it's all about planning ahead as well. Because I don't know what month we're in at the moment, but it can't be far off to the first winter. And we need to make sure that these guys have a roof over their heads with warmth and food before the snow and the heavy winter comes. Otherwise, they will get hungry, cold, catch a fever, and then die. And we don't want that. So, yeah, here we go. So, I'm going to have this house here. That's quite a nice house to have. Another thing is that each time you click on a house, the shape of it changes, which is quite nice if you're going for sort of an eclectic mix of builds, if I can say that. But I don't really want to do that. I want to sort of keep them as as straightforward as I can. I'm going to go for sort of a tidy setup here when I put in my first 4 houses. As you can tell, they're slightly different every time, and I'm kind of trying to remember what the last one looked like. As you can tell, the rain sound effects are kind of quite heavy in this, which is good, because it kind of gives you a bit of an urgency, like, quick, they're going to get wet, then they're going to get a shiver, and a chill, and a cold, and a fever, and then it wouldn't be any good. And this is on hard mode as well, so I'm extra cautious. My poor little SirBrewAlotian's. Can I call them that? SirBrewAlotian's? Yes. I'm going to call them SirBrewAlotian's. Welcome to my new town of SirBrewAlot. Here is your pass. You are now a fully fledged SirBrewAlotian. Okay, so that's the 4th plot down for the house. Now we've got a hunter's lodge, but as I was saying earlier, I want a gatherer's hut. Now, I think these work best nicely situated within a good clump of heavy, dense, thick forest. I think over here is good. That's quite a nice spot, because can you see where the yellow circle lies? That is their catchment area, and we want to make sure that that fits in the forest. But I don't want it too far away, because when they come to take resources back to the town, that would be a bit awkward, because it's kind of like, yes, I want my takeaway mushrooms, and you haven't bought it on time. I've been waiting several months. And he's like, yeah, sorry, I left a month ago. They've gone off now. Sorry. They don't have mopeds or cars yet. Or do they ever? I don't know. Here's one thing we're going to have to find out. So anyway, as I was whittering on there, I put down the first gatherer's hut, which is great. So, I am just going to assign a couple, probably 4 builders, because, yeah, I'm going to go for that, because actually we do want a good number. I know I've said it at 2 just for a second. Oops, sorry about that. It's my microphone. Silly me. I want another gatherer's hut as well, and I think I'm going to... do I want it yet? I'm not sure. I'm not going to do it just yet. I think we're going to settle with what we got, because if we tell them to do too much too soon, then they're never going to get anything done because they are spread too thin. Almost like butter on toast. The thinner the butter, the more drier the bread. And we don't want that, do we, fellow brewers? No, no. We want them working hard, but with plenty to show for it. So once this expanse is cleared, they should start building as well, which is really good. As you can see there, he's putting the first few bits down, which is brilliant. I do want to have 4 builders soon, but I think if I keep 6 labourers, I had to really think about my maths then. I'm going to have 6 labourers just to get in the majority of resources, and then I'll start swapping around labourers for builders, for gatherers, to fishermen and the like. So hopefully we're off to a good start. As you can see, our resource pile is growing, which is what we want. But I'm quite fortunate. I think this map has been very kind. It started us off in a very dense forest, which is very useful. Because one of the things you need is obviously fire to keep them warm. And obviously, if you think about what a fire uses back in the olden days, not gas, no, they didn't have that then, but wood. And where does wood come from? It comes from trees. If you didn't know this, then you must go to school. Sorry, I'm wittering on. But yeah. So yes, as I was saying, plenty of trees is good for your firewood. So as you can tell here, a woodcutter will chop up firewood for your homes as well, which is what I want. Now I'm not sure when to put that in, but I definitely want to do something like that soon. You know what? Shall I take a good old jump in the dark here? They've started building, they've got resources. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put in a woodcutters nice and early so that they can start chopping up wood and be extra prepared for the cold winter ahead. But I want to make it really neat. And there's obviously, I'm going to go for an L-shaped road here. And that's a nice place. I like where I put it. It's backdropped by trees. Ironically, because he's chopping them up and burning them. Oh, there's the first house, ladies and gentlemen. Our first SirBrewAlotian's house has gone up. What should we make the rent prices? No, don't do it. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about that in this, because that would be too much. So now I've got the first house up, I'm going to crank up the builders. So we've still got 6 labourers. And that should bring in all the homes, because obviously they're in the pouring rain. And I really want to get the gatherer's hut built as well, because that's quite important. As you can see, yes, he's putting down the next resources as well, which is brilliant. We want that. So yeah, if there's any particular view you want me to have when we're playing this, do let me know in the comments below. And I can certainly do that, but I'm just letting it roll at the moment because I'm so glad we've got all these trees. There's a bit of, I think that's iron down there as well, so we're not strapped for resources actually. They've been really kind on this map. Whether I can keep it going is another matter. I had a little go before and failed epically when the snow hit because I didn't plan ahead, so I'm really hoping that my sort of forward planning here will help. I can't remember where the gatherer's hut is. I'm going to wait for them to clear it first and then I can work out what I want to do. There we go, the second one is almost built, which is fantastic. Hey, the second SirBrewAlotian house is up. And they're drastically clearing rocks away to put the third one up, which is great. Oh, that was weird. I thought it was going to be the one on the right, but never mind. So what have we got here? Oh, so they need a bit more. That's alright. I'm going to pause it because we've got enough houses for the SirBrewAlotian's at the moment. Once that's built, they'll all have shelter, and actually I really want them to start on the gatherer's hut. So that is why. And see, already that guy was cold. And if you look down here, they're saying firewood is low. That's because our firewood chopper dude hasn't been built yet. But as you can tell, we've got a lot of logs, but they're not chopped into firewood yet. So they're just clearing that space out there. And then they should start building that one soon enough as well. But I really want this gatherer's hut to get built. Where is it? It's in there somewhere. I remember putting it down, but I can't remember exactly where. But that's alright. I think. I just really, my main panic is getting enough food coming in before the winters hit, because if you don't, from my playthroughs before, or my mini fail before, they starve quite quickly actually. And actually there's nothing you can do as well. Once they run out of food, you can't suddenly build another gatherer's hut and then have more food. It doesn't quite work like that. It kind of builds up over time. And as you can tell, they're cold in there, so I'm a little bit tense because I don't want our SirBrewAlotian's to freeze. It's only their first ever year. Hopefully these are going to be, they're going to be tough and they're going to deal with it. So yeah. Ah, there we go. There is the gatherer's hut. So there needs to be one more tree to be cut down, and we need 12 stone, and yeah, 45 tools. Well, I guess that's labour expenses or builders' expertise there. Yes, I know I've not got any firewood. Shut up. So there we go. The last tree has been chopped down, which is excellent. I'm very excited about that. And look at our stockpile, ladies and gentlemen. That is looking good. If I can keep something like that throughout the whole game, I will be very happy. Because our SirBrewAlotian's, it's quite a tongue twister that, our SirBrewAlotian's will be nicely fed, nicely watered, nicely warm, and hopefully we shall stave the cold winter dark night. Oh, the third house is up, fantastic. Hang on, no, it was already up. What am I on about? Ah, no, sorry, my eyes were playing tricks on me. It was the woodcutter's foundations going down. Silly me. So as you can tell, this is slowly going up now. We have all the resources, it's just a case of waiting. Ah, almost done. It's a race between time. I'm going to assign a woodcutter straight away, so that as soon as that's built, he can get on with it, and the same with the gatherer. I'm going to put 2 in. Yes. Straight away it's built, and that question mark has disappeared, so they are already off gathering. Fantastic, I'm glad about that. Oh, come on, wood chopper, I need to get that warm because they're cold. And you're probably thinking, oh, you've not put any roads down yet. Yes, I know, I will do that, but I just want to make sure that our SirBrewAlotian's are comfortable and happy first, because actually, one thing that I did before was I put roads everywhere and they spent hours digging in the roads, and I thought, well, it's kind of a low priority just at the moment. Because, as you can tell, they can move around quite swiftly without them. Doesn't seem to impact them more. It's more of an aesthetic thing, I feel, at the moment. So there we go. He is on the case, taking wood, chopping it up, and the cold has disappeared. Fantastic. Now, I've started the 4th house, as you can tell, and they are busy putting that together. Because actually, there we go. Everyone is homed. So we've got food coming in, we've got shelter, and we've got warmth. This is good. And that is a good start to the game. I'm happy about that. So let's have a look. Let's give it a pause. I just want to have a good old gander at what we got there. That's a lot. I'm happy about that. And oh, actually, yeah, okay, so we've not got much hide. Hide comes from killing animals, and that is something I want to really think about now, is actually a hunter's cabin. Now, again, the hunter's cabin works with a similar principle to the gatherer's hut, and I want to put the hunter's cabin, oh, I can't talk, the hunter's cabin near the gatherer's hut, so that it can kind of work in unison and all have a merry old time on a Friday after a long week of slogging it out. Well, you know, that's our SirBrewAlotians are a communicative folk, and that's what they like to do. So I've put in the hunter's cabin, which I'm very glad about. They should get on with that once I unpause. I'm going to roll it down a little bit, down to 2. We've got enough resources. The weather is okay, and I'm thinking I'd like to build a bigger storage barn as well, because that is an old little cart and I can't imagine it holding the weight of much more. If I put a big storage barn in, we could probably hold a lot more throughout the winters ahead. So I'm going to pop one in now. As you can tell, it's quite big, and I'm going to keep it neat, so it's got to fit with that L shape there. And I always give a slight path so that they can all mill around and go through them. So that's that one sorted, which is great. So we've got storage, we've got wood, we've got food, we've got meat. Hopefully once that starts, there we go, they're clearing the area now. But one thing I really want to do is put in a fishery as well. So let's just get that sorted. Where is it now? There it is. Okay, so where the river comes around here, that's a perfect spot because it'll push all the fish into the nets. That's what I reckon anyway. Push all the fish into the nets. Less fishing for you, dear. Sorry. So I'm going to put it around here because that's a good... I think we covered all the protein bases at the moment, which is really good. So we got our sort of nuts and our pulses and our mushrooms and our onions and potatoes and things like that, and then meat and fish as well, which is fantastic. I'm really, this is a good start. I'm glad about this. Really glad.